What is up, Dons? We are back. This is my top 20 albums of 2024. I'm a little late, but good music is timeless. I will be including mixtapes and stuff in this list. And if you have a problem, just fucking fight me, okay? Um, and also, I'm gonna start with the honorable mentions. This album's like really, this video is really overdue, so I'm kind of just throwing it together. Spoiler alert, rep the merch. All right, I got to shout out two EPs first that I had on repeat all year. Fantasies by Bombay Bicycle Club. It's awesome. Bombay, they're not past their prime, and honestly, if I were to remake my top albums of the year of 2023, I feel like I would bump my Big Day from them up from like 7 to like 2 or 3, because I have listened to that album more this year than most of the albums on that list. It's really good. And the other one is Computer Kill's self-titled EP, just an incredible dark wave band from Baltimore. And I've seen them live. They're good too. Honorable mentions, Rachel Chinariri, What a Devastating Turn of Events. It's got some great pop bangers, British, but it misses the list because the final leg is a little slow. Also, she's too popular now because those tour tickets sold out instantly, but that's okay. Maxiel, Permanent Repeat. They've gone like even further towards just like indie rock away from the like Midwest emo stuff, but still solid. Definitely listen to this one a lot. Raven Lenae, Bird's Eye is a bit more pop and less like kind of alternative R&B than the last album, but it's got a couple of bangers like Genius. And Hannah Vu, Romanticism. Her last album kind of had like a couple of like synth bangers, and then just like some slower songs that I wasn't that crazy about. But this one is a lot more rock, and she has a really unique voice, and it's really good. And I have the record, and it's really sick. The color is so sick. It's like one of the sickest records I own. Quantum Baby by Tinashe. I feel like Getting No Sleep was a misleading single because I thought this was going to be more experimental than BB Angel, but I was very wrong. This album's actually kind of like a throwback with a lot of just really solid R&B songs, and it's actually like less electronic than BB Angel, and yeah, it's also like less poppy than 333, so it kind of is like almost all the way back to Night Ride in a way. And I feel like this would be on my list if Red Flags was a jungle song, because it was supposed to be a jungle song, and if you get it, you get it, because that's just how it is. Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc. Mag Bay makes incredible pop music, incredible synth pop. But like, part of me just like doesn't really want to like put this album on. It just like it feels too grand, and it's just like the thought of putting this album on is not as fun as I wanted it to be, as fun as their other music. So I don't know, maybe I'm just a hater, because I listen to this and I'm like, oh wow, it's really good, but I don't really want to put it on. My cat is like really interested in my hat. Um, can I capture this? All right. Next is Joanna Wang, Hotel La Rut. This is just really creative, really varied, and she just like paints these really cool little stories. And it misses my list because, you know, would I rather listen to this album over the other albums? Are the songs on this album better than the other albums? And the answer is no. Sorry, but it's cool. I really like the song about squirting pigeons with bleach. That is actually the best song, and it's really ominous at the beginning, and then it's got this huge Pink Floyd-esque climax. You gotta listen to that one. Pigeons on the Balcony. Okay, I kind of have a lot to say about this next honorable mention, and that is because it was on my list until I realized that it didn't need to be on the list because I liked another album better, and I took it off. And this is Lover Tofu Fruit by Tiffany Day. Or maybe it's My Lover Tofu Fruit. I should have looked that up before. So I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't really know how much I like Tiffany herself. I think she's like a genuine, honest songwriter and is quite relatable, which is cool. But like, I don't know if she's like unique, or like sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I like her vocal style. And like, I don't know what makes her interesting. But she does write good hooks. But like, the reason why this album is really good is because Melv, aka MELVV, this guy was executive producer, and I am a big fan of this guy. He's kind of like a like analog synth dude. He makes really good music, and he like produced and co-produced a lot of songs. So you gotta listen to Loyola, because that is like textbook Melv. And there's bangers, and then like the ones that are more kind of like glitched out, hyperpop, like Kansas and What a Joke, like those are bangers. Like this is a really good album. So shout out Tiffany Day. I'll keep following her because she seems solid. I actually listened to Tiffany Day's song back in like 2019. So I don't know. She's still here, I guess.
Wake up, A cup, get your tits sucked in my makeup, face fuck, get your bake up, fake bluff, fake tough.
All right. Number 20. This is Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii. This is actually a mixtape because basically Doechii wrote it in like a really short period of time because she was getting writer's block trying to write an album of like full-length pop songs basically. And you know, in function, this mixtape is like way more cohesive than just a random collection of pop songs, and it is a better album than most albums. So that's why it's here, and it's got some kind of like boom bap stuff, some, you know, chill, trippy vibes in the middle, a bit of singing at the end, and you know, I usually stick to like hip hop music that's more has like good beats, is more dancey, electronic. But I really like the first leg of this album a lot. And usually when people say like, oh, like you gotta listen to like Black Thought or whatever, and all these like nerd rappers, like the music nerd shit, I kind of get bored because I'm like, the beats are good, but they're not like, it's not like house music. But Doechii is really, really captivating, and like Bullfrog and that kind of stuff is like the best tracks. And then you get the stuff in the middle, like, you know, Skip, Wait, Nissan Altima, Slide, like those are the type of stuff that typically I would really like, and those are great. And it's great. It's just really, it is really good, and maybe it should be higher on this list, but it's too late because I'm currently filming, and this video is like 6 months late, guys. Number 19, Eliminate, Get Off the Internet. It's just super fun EDM album. A lot of styles, like a hybrid trap, house, happy hardcore, and it's got a very like digital synthy vibe, sort of like Virtual Riot type. And I would definitely recommend this if you like Kids Gone Mad by XOXO. SMSOU with Frost Children, that is a standout. That is a banger. Alright, number 18 is Happenings by Kasabian. Kasabian are British rock legends. They are one of my favorite bands. And to fill you in on the lore, their former lead singer got kicked out after their 6th album, and then the songwriter and guitarist and like the secondary vocalist, he became the new frontman, and they dropped their 7th album, and people got really angry because they like abandoned their like stadium rock sound. But if you know anything about like 2000s British rock, like that's what everyone was doing. So like the reason why Kasabian is better than everyone else, better than like fucking like Razorlight and Kaiser Chiefs and all those nerds, is because all the electronic and hip hop influences, and that's what makes them good, and that is what Serj focused on the 7th album, and it was really good. And then they go to their 8th album, and he's like, okay, fuck that shit though, we're just making pop songs now, and they do bang, because Serj has been writing heat for 20 years now, and he's not just gonna stop for fun. Darkest Lullaby, Kasabian classic. How Far Will You Go is like almost like an Empire era electro punk, and Coming Back to Me Good is like an Empire of the Sun summer anthem. Hell of It is like the classic Kasabian creative, like electronic, like it's something only they would write. Italian Horror is like really catchy, poppy, but it's also like really dynamic. Like it keeps just like building up and has like a lot of different phases and layers, even though it's such a short poppy song. And then Algorithms is a mid stadium rock song because they don't need to make that shit in the first place. I mean, look, LSF is like one of their best songs, but And next is What You Want, Ogbert the Nerd. Ogbert. That's a hard word, guys. And this is a 5th wave emo band. And 5th wave emo means like Midwest emo, but whatever. It's not as like twinkly all the time. So I don't know. People, Midwest emo bands, they don't like the word Midwest emo anymore. You just gotta call them emo, otherwise they're gonna be like, actually. So I don't know. I don't want to offend everyone, but I don't know. Every genre term is bullshit. So this album is short, to the point. It's just all killer, no filler. It's an emo song. It's got 8 songs that are really hype. A lot of yelling, really upbeat, whiny, and then you got one acoustic song that's like a minute and a half, and it's over, and it's beautiful. It is. This is what emo music is supposed to be. Alright, number 16 is Madra by New Dad, and I have their set list somewhere. I forgot about that. New Dad is an awesome Irish indie rock band with some jangle pop and shoegaze inspirations. That's it, that's it. I'm just living that life. Number 15 is Brat by Charlie XCX. I got the CD right here. I don't even have to edit this shit in. I woke up one day and I was like, said to my girlfriend, and I said, babe, I need to go walk to Barnes & Noble right now and get the Brat CD because it's Brat summer. That's a true story. And you already know it. Not much to say about it. It's like an early 2010s kind of electro and synth pop, and Everything Romantic was teasing a drill switch up, and it didn't happen, and that is pretty lame. But besides that, it's very good. Recording this is actually like surprisingly easy when I just like don't give a shit and just keep rolling and I don't no retakes, one take, no edits, all my mistakes. But honestly, like I feel like the quality is like almost better that way because it's more genuine. It's more just like my personality and less like rigid. But also at the same time, it's like when I show my personality, people just are like get mad at me for hating. They're like, oh, like why would you hate on George Clanton? And it's like I was born to hate on George Clanton. Like I don't know, it has nothing to do with the music. I'm just hating for fun, but in like a good way, not like in a lame way, not like a, but you know. So I don't know, where were we? We were in the middle of a list. Nero, yeah, 14, Into the Unknown. Nero is back. A lot less emphasis on Alana, and then the last album, which was like almost all the songs were vocal songs. This has a lot more instrumental songs, and it's got a handful of drum and bass songs. And Renegade, Gravity, and Solar are like proper Nero bangers, great vocals. And then you have Nowhere to Hide is a good one too. It's got like a bright, glitchy French house vibe. And I just love Nero. It is a step down for them, but you know, it's still Nero. So number 14. Number 13 is Fake Fruit with Mutual Mistrust. Fake Fruit is one of the sickest post-punk bands out right now, and their first album was amazing, and their follow-up is awesome as well. My favorite song here is Más o Menos. Their upbeat songs have just such an amazing punk energy with post-punk instrumentation and discordant angular guitars and distortion. Number 12, I have the Umbrellas with Fairweather Friends. The Umbrellas are an awesome jangle pop / twee pop band. I think the male vocalist has like a really interesting, deep, like 80s style delivery, you know, like kind of like a like goth adjacent type of thing. Because like I feel like when you're like pulling out the like 80s vocal thing, it's kind of like it's a bit of a gambit. Because like on a goth song it sounds good, but when it's not, like on a jangle pop song, like it really can be hit or miss because sometimes you're just trying too hard and you suck. But here it works really well, especially on Three Cheers, which is my favorite track. Number 11, we have Midnight Butterflies by Seagirls. Seagirls is your band for modern British indie rock bangers. I feel like they have matured even farther from their last album. I think Horror Movies really impressed me, like the just like slow falsetto building, and yeah, it was good. And then I also really liked Screaming on Superman, was cool. And then my favorite, honestly, might even be the closer, the slow closer, After Hours. Like I feel like the lyrics there are just like really are better written than the stuff on the last album. Like he's still singing about the same like pathetic shit, but he just doesn't sound as lame doing it. And I don't know if he's like trying to sound pathetic, but that's just like that's how he's come off since 2017. So yeah, you know, and a lot of classic Seagirls bangers here as well, like Young Strangers. That is a proper tune. I was gonna get an accent, but you know. Speaking of proper tunes, that was even worse. Number 10 is Nia Archives with Silence is Loud, and that album has the Union Jack on it. So shout out England once again. A lot of British people on this list because I like British music. So this is basically just like pop songs with jungle percussion, and it's really good. I do think though that it could be like a little bit more varied, just because like a lot of the songs are kind of similar, and you know like Silence is Loud is a little different, and like Forbidden Feelings is probably like the only one here that has like a really clearly electronic electronic song, like dance song focus with like the vocals being like a background. The other ones are kind of just like pop song with the percussion added at the end over top, if that makes sense. So, you know, at the end of the day though, if it ain't broke, and it's great. So yeah, Nia Archives, check her out. Number 9 is Fontaines DC, and they're shifting gears on their 4th album. It's their most complex yet. The opener, Romance, very big, cinematic, spooky, eerie even, and that goes into Starburster, which is just like such a hard-hitting, straightforward track. It's got a like very similar, just like really punchy kind of post-punk type of song and vocals, similar to stuff on Dog Rule, but they've clearly just grown so much, just doing a lot more on this song than they did on the stuff on Dog Rule. And I think this is the best song to date. It's incredible. And then the vibes shift for songs 4 through 9, and it just gets like a lot slower and low-key, but we still do have good songs. Like we still have Desire and Sundowner, which are like, I want to say shoegazy because they're not shoegazy, but they're like distortion heavy and moody, which is like, that's what people mean when they say shoegazy. You know, even though it sounds nothing like My Bloody Valentine, but so they have shoegaze elements, let's say, for those two. So those are kind of bangers. You get Bug. It's like acoustic guitar centered, but it's a banger as well. So, you know, and then the slow songs are good too in this section. And then you get 2 more bangers at the end, which kind of like mirror the 2 bangers at the start. Intro, 2 bangers, like fucking 6. I don't know, I can't count. And then 2 bangers again at the end. So it's like a weird format basically. So it kind of like surprised me, and it was a bit of a head scratcher, if you will. But the more I sit with it, the more it just like, it actually really does work. I will say though, like I really was surprised though, because the only song that really is similar to Starburster, which was the lead single, is Death King. Like nothing else is remotely similar to that. And I do think though that like for the slower songs, like nothing really, I mean, even all the songs on the album, like besides Starburster, the intro is a little bit dramatic. Like you're gonna like play that intro for Romance, and then you get like Motorcycle Boy. Like I like Motorcycle Boy, but you know, you get Romance and you get Motorcycle Boy. Like, all right, number 8 is Lola by Goth Babe. This album is just, it's so comforting, so positive sounding. It feels like a summer tropical adventure, and it's got a lot of really pretty guitars layered over warm synths and, you know, electronic compressed drums, and you know, paired with Goth Babe's vocals. And it's just a very nostalgic sound for me, because I was really big on French indie electronic music in high school. And he's not French, but if he added a few synth arpeggios and he turned these songs into duets, it would 100% sound French without a doubt. And this album is named after his boat Lola, which he lived on while making this album. And the music's all inspired by the places he travels to. This is a heartwarming story, but he's not like Thylacine. I don't know if you're a big Thylacine fan like I am, but yeah, because I haven't listened to his back catalog, but 90% of it all sounds the same, and he'll be going to like Iceland, and then he'll be going to Mexico, and then I don't know, it all sounds like summer. It's all the same. But this album is like awesome, so I don't know, it's just like really, for me, it's really my vibe. I did like write more and more as it went on, but I also am getting worse and worse at sticking to the script. So let's just jump into Origami Angel, Feeling Not Found. I got the hat on hand. I don't know why. I didn't get anything else from any of the other albums on hand, but I brought this hat out just because fuck it. Shout out Greenbelt, Maryland. Drove through there yesterday. Drove past McDonald's from 24-hour drive-through. Remember that song? Remember that one, guys? If you haven't been to the McDonald's, by the way, you're not a real fan. Anyway, Origami Angel is back with their third album, and they move away from the like twinkly Midwest emo fun of their last two albums into a more darker, serious sound, which is a little closer to pop pop. But maybe it's just emo pop, because I've heard that you can't call it pop punk if it's not like formulaic slop. So I don't know. It's not really my realm. And Origami Angel's Feeling Not Found is their most thematic and most cohesive album to date. It's not necessarily the most depressing emo album out there, but it does feel like deeply personal, listening to Rylan sing about, trying to overcome a lot of personal struggles, especially because this time he's also not trying to balance the lyrics with lines about like Danny Phantom or Happy Meals all the time. And yeah, it is a little bit different, but Origami Angel are amazing, and Feeling Not Found is no exception. Alright, number 6 is Lava LaRue's Starface, and this is Starface. So to read from the back cover, Starface is a gender-fluid musical space alien sent to planet Earth to study the reasons why humans are so self-destructive. I didn't realize this had 4 paragraphs. After crash landing on the British coast, Starface is discovered by a local woman who helps them get to London to start their research. The deeper Starface finds himself observing within society, the more ironically entangled they become with the irrationalities of human behavior, eventually getting infatuated with the same woman who discovered the crash landing. With the assistance of many musical allies made along the way, Starface is able to pursue their mission. Now Starface faces an ultimatum: go back to the mothership, report their findings, and save Earth, only to be reassigned to a new planet and never return, or to stay on Earth madly in love as the world inevitably falls apart around them. Yeah, I really like the concept here because it's very easy to grasp and connect to the songs, and the theme about like humans being destructive but good and whatever. It's like, it's very simple, but has a lot of depth, and it also doesn't derail the album by like demanding attention. And Starface is a mixture of pop, rock, hip hop, funk, electronic music. It sounds like a lot, but once you get to like the second full song on here, Manifesto, and you listen to that, you kind of get a grasp of just the album's general sound. It is extremely creative, but it feels so like effortlessly cohesive that it's easy to forget just how much creativity and ground is covered in this album. Number 5 is Oolong by Oolong. Their self-titled album is an incredibly fun and energetic Midwest emo album. It feels so fun and fresh. It builds stylistically on their 2020 debut, but this time around, the song is just like a lot punkier and more aggressive. The twinkly guitars, the time signature changes, whiny vocals, bangers, it's all you would want. And on top of that, there are 21 songs here. And because of that, there's something new to take away with each listen. It's a lot, but it just grows on you every time. I just appreciate this album more and more. And there's a lot of shorter songs that'll hit one after the other. There's longer songs. There's songs that switch up the style. It is great, and it just cements the fact that no one is doing it like Oolong. If I had to choose one standout, probably like Been Here Before or Tofurky Tough. But they're all good. They're all Oolong. So. At number 4, I have Girl EDM by Nina Geraci, and Girl EDM, aka Girl EDM Disc 1. isn't a studio album. It isn't really a mixtape either. It's more of a compilation album, but an album's an album. And it's basically 2 EPs. So that's what I have. It's a 4x4 EP, which came out at the end of 2023, and Girl EDM EP, which came out in the spring. This has a bonus track, but the disc 1 version, which you'll find on streaming services, have a different track added on, and the songs are all shuffled around. And yeah, Nina Giraci used to be almost a little Flume adjacent in a way. She made very glitchy music with a big focus on the percussion, and you can hear this style on the song Undo You here, but the rest of them, she pretty much reinvented her sound. And Girl EDM is inspired by a lot of EDM, late 2000s, early 2010s, particularly electro house. A lot of gritty and glitchy drops here. It's very synthy, lots of pitched vocals, but more in like a caramel dancing kind of way than hyperpop kind of way, you know what I mean? And it's just a lot of fun. And I was a huge fan of electro house back in the day, particularly Complextro. You know, Wolfgang Gartner's the GOAT. But no one makes electro anymore. They make bass house, and all the good bass house songs are actually speed garage songs. And now I'm getting off topic, but you know, Girl EDM, it's not just an album, it's also a movement, it's also a way of life. Basically, Girl EDM was my brat. Number 3, Utopia Now by Rosie Tucker. This is an amazing indie rock album, and it's, you know, core to this album are topics of overconsumption, capitalism, modern life, and more. And Rosie covers them with an entertaining sense of humor too. All My Exes Live in Vortexes and Suffer Like You Mean It are bangers. They are insanely good. Slower songs are just as good too, and I was just shocked because, like, no offense, but this is like so much better than the last album. Not that the last album's bad. This was so much, like, this album is very good. It's very good, and yeah. Number 2, you would have been spoiled if you saw the shirt, especially if you could have read the part at the bottom. I don't know if that's on camera, but this is Plastic Death by Glass Beach. I've been going back and forth between my top 2 albums for a while, but there's one I'm just like way more enthusiastic about. So I've had to relegate Plastic Death to the second position. But it's a great album. First Glass Beach album was an emo album. This is not. And it is very painful for me to say this, but I think this might be a little better. Classic J Dies and Goes to Hell Part 1 and Better Community are still the best songs. And Classic J Dies and Goes to Hell Part 1 is still the best Christmas song in existence, but this album is very, very good. They have completely changed their songs, and the vocals are no longer emo. They sound quite different, and the internet says they sound like Radiohead, but the internet also told me that Radiohead sounds like U2 in the 2000s. Sounds like they were copying Radiohead, and this doesn't sound like U2, who I do know quite a bit about U2. So, you know, the only Radiohead song I can really remember is Airbag, besides Creep. I don't like Creep. And I've heard that Karma Police song like 10 times, but I have no clue how it goes. And I'm not even 100% sure if they even say Karma Police in that song, if I'm being honest. And I just think, you know, Radiohead is just really a forgettable band that makes forgettable songs to me, because every time I try to listen to them, I forget their music. You know, I just think like pretty much all the music that came out of the 90s is bad. Back to Glass Beach, even though it was inspired by the 90s, it's actually very good. It's super creative. Every song is doing something new. It's less electronic than the last one, but these songs are very detailed, very layered. The percussion on this album is awesome. It's a more cohesive album than the last one. Lots of bangers like Motions, Cul-de-sac, Puppy, and we got, Slip Under the Door, which is like screaming, and, The CIA is a banger that's really dark and intense, those two. And, it's not an easy album to describe. You just have to listen to it. But if I had to describe it in one word, Radiohead, I'm told, is the word. My number one album of the year 2024 is Gem by Arc Patrol. If you don't know who that is, his song Let Go went TikTok famous, and I knew that shit before it was cool, because that song did numbers on Mr. Suicide Sheep in like 2015. But I've been a huge fan of Arc Patrol for a long time. And even just thinking about Let Go, like, that song makes you feel shit. Like, that song hits. It takes you on a journey. And that is what Arc Patrol does, and that is why he's so good. And I feel like I'm going on a journey every time I listen to Arc Patrol. And Gem, his third album, on Spotify he demoted Geode to an EP, and he's also got another like 9-song EP out as well. So, this could be his second or fourth album, depending on how you look at it, but I think it's his third. Arc Patrol starts off with a typical Arc Patrol pop song, but after that, he shifts into dance music territory, and that is the thing that sets this album apart from his past releases. His self-titled album had a lot of catchy electronic songs, even a handful of trap songs, but this one has house, it has garage, it has drum and bass. These songs are for dancing, and these songs could be played in the club. As always with Arc Patrol, the sonic textures are so vivid. I don't want to sound pretentious, but Arc Patrol paints digital soundscape, and he manages to keep that up even when making more hype and club-centric music. On a couple of the songs, he sings himself, which is a nice holdover from the last album, Geode, and I just feel like I'm going on a journey whenever I listen to this album. The standouts for me are Falling For You and Too Far, and it's very different from Geode, and honestly, I think this is better, which is one of the best compliments I can give this album. Also, this is like working music, study music. Like, you can lock in to this album. This is grind set shit, and yeah. I'm gonna give this album 10 out of 10. Let's fucking go, guys. All right, happy 2025. A lot of albums already came out, so fuck it. Dead's my album of the year 2025. Don't have to make that stupid fucking this video again in a year's time, because I know it's never gonna come out. All right, happy fucking, what is it? Like President's Day? One of them is coming up, right? All right, I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow. 2:30 o'clock is my appointment time. Yeah, it is.